Hi, and welcome to MKW Driving School YouTube channel. We're back again with ADI Part 3 videos. So today we're gonna give you some tips, and we're going to talk about when you meet the examiner before the test start, how that works. So meet and greet with the examiner. Examiner also have some duties to conduct your instructional ability test, or call it Part 3 test or standard check. First of all, examiner going to prepare his documents. So like before you coming to meet them on the day and time, they already have sorted out your name, your PR number, why you are here, and they know what you're going to do, Part 3 or standard check. So they prepare the paperwork and they wait for you to come on the time and meet them on the waiting area. So when you report them on the reception, on the meeting area, it's called meet and greet time, and examiner will check your identity, that you are here for your Part 3, Part 2 or standard check test. When they check your identity, they will ask you, do you have your pink badge with you? You can take it out, or your ADI badge, you can take it out and show them at the same time, or you can do this way, then say, okay, it's in the car, this is my number, this is my name, and they just maybe pick your name and number and you just show them that is a display. If you're charging your student for the lesson on the day, then you have to make sure you display your badge. And if you're not charging, tell them you are not charging your student, but still is there on the dashboard to display here. Okay. Now, when you go to the test center, they like to see your reflective logs, training record. Now, because they believe you done your Part 2. After the Part 2, if you have the pink badge and you say you have the pink badge, then we believe you have done 40 hours of the training, and then you sign the training and declare it, you done it. If you declare it, you done it with your trainer or your driving school, is there any proof? Is there any paperwork? Do you have your reflective logs? Do you have any your training record of that 40 hours? And if you generally have done it, then there should be a record for you with your trainer, or trainer have it and you borrow from the trainer on the day to show it can be the paperwork, it can be the digital form, but you have a proof for 40 hours. That is where people do the cheating. They go to the test with no reflective logs, no paperwork, no digital, no paperwork, nothing, and they have no records. And when the examiner asks the PDI or for the PDI especially, oh, do you have any reflective log? Do you have any training record I can see? Excuse me. The normally answer is no, I don't have. And majority of the time the PDI say, my trainer did not told me to bring it, I don't know about it. So that is your first impression. If you're a genuine PDI and you really have done your 40 hours training, your homework, like let's say 25% you done with your trainer in the car, and 75% you done it your home study, your group study, home study, internet study, webinars, applications, books, whatever. There should be a record. When you finish your daily study, you should reflect yourself, what I have learned today, what I improved today, what I should be working next time. That is what you're going to do with your student at the end of the lesson. Can you reflect your performance? So if you have done your 40 hours, then I believe every 1 hour is like let's say every day you done 1 or 2 hours, then you should have 20 days or 40 days of the work. So you should have about 20-40 pages to reflect yourself. But when you don't have it, that's a bad impression. So telling you right now, so think about it before you say no. Insurance of your car. Try not to take the rent-a-car. Dual control rent-a-car is the best option. If you already have your own car, dual control, best option. Take a driving school car is the best option. You can take your private car, but with no controls and not insured for the teaching purpose, is not a car good for the insurance. Anything can happen. And normal rent-a-car without dual control, not a good idea. You can use any car, but remember, try to choose the car for your test day, not a 2-seater. Especially there should be a seats for the back, because sometimes you have another examiner in the car to examine this examiner. So student, you as a trainer, examiner sitting at the back, and one assessor want to sit. So assessor want to examine the examiner want to examine you, and you are watching the student. So you must have 2 extra seats at the back. This is a suitable car for your test purpose. Before the lockdown, the duration of the test was one hour, and now they make it 45 minutes. So that's why now the new duration of the test is since then 45 minutes. Where you get 3 minutes to recapping, 40 minutes moving car drive time, and 2 minutes at the end for the reflection time. Now examiner need to conduct your test where he just have to sit down quietly, watch your actions, make his notes, and make sure he try to listen to you carefully, to your students carefully, make a notes. When you finish the lesson, compile the notes and try to give you the result. Now, it's your duty as a PDI that you try to tell your student in advance that this is like your assessment, this is like your test, and your examiner is just there to see that you are doing your job properly, or they are just here to see that you are meeting the standard of teaching properly. So use the wordings which make your student relax and calm. This is where everybody do the mistake. They tell the students already in the beginning or before they ask them a request, oh, are you free on that day? I got a test coming up. Can you go with me in your test please? Or can you go in my test please? So you are telling your student from the day one is your test. So they don't want to do any mistakes where they feel bad that they did the mistake and you fail your test because of me. Then you're going to shout on me on later, especially when you take your son, daughter, family member. They're worried that if I'm going to do some mistake, my dad going to be shouting on me later on saying that why you done this mistake? I teach you so many times. Why you done this? Why you done that? Please try not to use the word test. Say you are just going for simple lesson, but there will be somebody coming for the assessment. So it's your duty to try to keep them relaxed and calm. So when they relax and calm, they perform very well and it will help you in your real test. So try not to use the word of the test. Now, your examiner going to ask you some important question before he will conduct your test. Now these questions are very important, and according to that test, your scores matter, your lesson matter, your pass and fail matter. So think carefully, listen carefully, answer carefully. So one question he can ask you, roughly how many hours of tuition the pupil has had. So if you have the progress book, progress card, content list of your student, every record of your student, every lesson reflective logs. If your student done 10 hours, there should be a 10 reflective logs of 10 hours. So where you can tell them they done 10 hours, this is a reflective log, this is their progress card, that's what they have done so far, this is what they have covered, no private practice and no previous experience, all hours stand with me. So that's a very important question. So after this question, the examiner will try to judge you that you know your student ability and experience. You know his teaching style, learning styles. You know his learning style. You're going to teach with his learning style. You're going to adopt yourself with his learning style. So it's an important question. It's like a story, but people try to lie. Student done 10 hours, they say 5. Student already have the full license holder, they say he's trained. Student already trained, they say he's partly trained. So try not to lie, try to portray the real picture of your student so you can come with the real ability and experience, and you can structure the lesson according to his ability and experience, and then you can prove it you have the right goal and need for today's lesson by keeping the progress card and last reflective logs. What was weak last time, you can try to correct this time. So carefully listen it, answer carefully. Second question they can ask you, whether their pupil getting any private practice from parents. So simply if they're not, just say no. Because if they done it, they maybe have two state of mind. Parents told them something else, you told them something else, so he don't know what to do. So that's why he maybe can try to do different things. Okay. The third question they will ask, what is the student's strength? What is their weakness? What areas you guys going to develop today? But if you guys filling the reflective log last time, then you should already know what he was achieving last time, what he already done, and what his weakness, and what you guys going to cover it today. So that's a very important question. So you make sure, give them a proper answer, and try not to lie. That is a common thing. PDI lie about their students, lie about their hours, lie about their license. They think the examiner is stupid because they're not asking you to show their identity is a full license holder. They're not even forcing you to show the progress card as a must thing. So what people do, they try to lie. What they lie about it is like, oh, he's partly trained, but actually he's not. He's trained. He done 40 hours. They say he's done 10 hours. So just portray the real picture as much you can. Otherwise, you guys are going to be in a big trouble. Now, it's your duty to maintain the risk throughout the lesson, and examiner also have to carefully watch it, that anytime if you put them in the race, they should stop the lesson. You are allowed to take your examiner with you as well in the car on your part 3. So your examiner or your trainer both can sit at the back and watch your test. So in case you did not successful this time, so they know how you did it, so they can pick your goal and need for the next time, and they can structure the lesson best for you for the next time, and see your weakness and strength in the part 3 real test, including the nerves you get in the test day, and they try to overcome. So sometimes it's a good idea to tell your trainer to come with you and sit the watch. But problem is keeping 2 extra people in the car is too much pressure to your student. Is already 1 person extra in the car, student take too much pressure, so sometimes it's not a good idea. Now at the end of the test, when you finish your test, examiner will say, do you have any question about that we start the test? So that's why you say, no, I'm happy, and they will tell you, this is the time I want you to come back. So try to listen the time carefully and try not to get late, and finish the test, including the reflection, feedback, encouragement, reflection, in the same time period the examiner told you to come back. So again, examiner may be using this word as well. Could you tell me how many lessons your pupil has had and what you have been covering recently? So that means they want to know your lesson plan, your goals and need of today's lesson. Or that's what is very important. As I said, the examiner will write down all the notes, then he will take the notes with him, and then after he make a result, he will destroy the notes, and when he will finish, when you come back and do the reflection and everything, we done it, then examiner will say thank you, you can carry out your lesson as normally. I would not take any part in the lesson, and you can carry on your lesson and try to come back on that time. This is like when they're going to start and give you the handover. But when you finish the lesson, they will say thank you, now I need to complete my paperwork. This will take about 10 minutes or 15 minutes. I will come back and find you. You're more likely to welcome and come and sit down into your waiting area. When the examiner making the notes, he's checking your competencies in the assessment or elements, lesson planning, risk management, teaching and learning strategy. He'd like to see the evidences that you have to demonstrate. If you show no evidence, never demonstrate anything, you get 0 number. If you show in the few elements in competencies, you get 1. And if you most demonstrated in most, you get 2, satisfactory level. And if you've demonstrated in all, where you don't need any help from your trainer anymore, you get 3 numbers. There are some typical example for in this one where examiner can see that you're doing your job properly, is a satisfactory level. So for example, you are actively recognizing the need to understand the pupil experience and background. You ask suitable question to your student. You're encouraging your student to talk about the goal, concerns, and you actively listening to the pupil what they have to say, understanding the significance of what they say, recognizing the other indication like body language, people trying to express their feelings, and maybe they can't say the right wordings, but they want to tell you something. So all come under the competency. So examiner is going to notice every single thing you do in the test before he compile your real test result. So for example, competency standards examples. So for example, if the PDI never attempt to understand the pupil need, that demonstrates you get 0 number. That means you done never any job. But if the PDI asks people a few questions but doesn't really listen to the pupil properly and still heading towards the lesson and not paying much attention, but he tried to prove something to the examiner, he done something, so something means 1 number only. But if the PDI try to do more understanding of the pupil need and try to show some effort and find a difficult frame for the questions and this, they get 2 numbers, satisfactory. On the other hand, if the examiner give you 3 numbers, that means that element in your lesson plan, risk management and teaching and learning, that you are doing your good job, you can continue exactly what you're doing. And if you get 2 numbers, that means you are on the satisfactory level, but you still have to do some more work on that element to make yourself more improve. And if you get 1 number, that means you are too weak in that competencies or in that element, that you have to work very hard on that element to achieve your best level. And also, whenever you do something, you also have to remember that you have to be constant. You can't do one work good and do the bad one. So for example, if you never find the goal and need, but you're doing a good lesson structure according to his ability experience, that don't work, because these 2 work need to be together. If you're identifying the good goal and need in lesson planning, then accordingly you can do the lesson structure properly according to his ability and experience. So that's like a combination, and that is how they assess you. So this is, call it meet and greet. People think the meeting and greeting with the examiner is still one of the simple thing. Go, meet, finish. There is a story behind it. If they don't want you to ask you this question, then why not they just meet you outside the test center in the car park, no talking, you sitting with a student and he just sit down and you continue like picking somebody in a Uber or something. No, they don't do this way. They want you to come alone without the student. You can say the student to wait in the waiting area or in the car, but if you leave them in the car, keep the key with you. Then they want to ask you, because that is a story. They want to know your lesson plan, how you structure, what is the goal and need, what's weakness and strength. Then they make up some mind what they're going to see in the lesson. So you tell the story first. That story should match in the lesson, so they can see the evidence in the lesson of your story, what you're telling them in the start. And that start is the previous lesson they have in the last lesson. Because for example, if I done one lesson on 1st January, I improve something and I have the weakness of something. Then I'm doing another lesson on 2nd of January. What I was weak on 1st of January, I will try to improve in 2nd of January. So that is my previous past. Then I go lesson plan. Now I told this lesson plan to my examiner. Then after that, I'll try to conduct the lesson plan. And when you finish the lesson, I want to see what you're telling me. You're doing exactly what you're supposed to do, and your student is learning something from you. Learning is taking place. And when you finish the lesson, it should be the same reflection of the story you told me, or your previous reflective logs or progress card of the student, all match. And now you're reflecting the performance of today, and you have another new weakness and strength to work on the next lesson. So that is like a sequence, and examiner is just joining you in the middle of the sequence. So if you take the genuine student with the genuine progress card, all reflective logs from the back, good lesson plan, general lesson plan according to his ability and experience, conduct it, new weakness, new strength, finish the lesson where learning is taking place, majority of the time you will get satisfactory number, which is enough to make you pass in 30s or B grade. And if you show some good elements, extra practice, extra work, everyday practice, then you're more likely to get 3. So take it very seriously, meeting and greeting with your examiner, and take the general student, try not to lie. That's my tip. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time with more tips of ADI Part 3 and standard checks. Thank you. Bye.